Hi everyone, today I want to answer a question that I get all the time since I started my Etsy shop, which is Etsy a good place for illustrators and artists to be? I'm Liz Kohler Brown. I'm an artist and designer, and I love creating artwork for products and sharing with others how I create my work and sell it online. So I started my Etsy shop with just a few greeting cards, and I was surprised to see that some of them were selling, because I think, as we all feel in the beginning, there's so many people out there already selling this thing. Why would someone buy mine? So I found in the beginning that really working hard on those tags, titles, descriptions, and having a design that's very unique helps a lot. So of course, if you're just going in and doing something really similar to what's already on Etsy, you're not going to be doing great in the beginning. But I can tell you from just peeking around Etsy, there are not a ton of artists selling things that are really well designed, like stickers, cards. There are a few. I'm not saying there aren't any out there, but there's not a huge market of artists on Etsy. It's a lot more of like handmade materials. Whereas as a digital artist like me, I can make something on my iPad and then have it printed somewhere and shipped directly to the customer. So I'm right now using a combination of print on demand. So I use a company called Printful, and they take the order. It's all connected to Etsy. It goes straight from my Etsy shop to Printful when the order is placed. And it's a really simple process for me, because I just make the Etsy listing and it's connected to Printful, and then they print and ship, and the tracking number gets automatically sent to the Etsy customer. So it's pretty hands-off for me once I create the listing. That being said, there have been a few issues, which, as we all know, if you want something done right, do it yourself. There have been some envelopes missing with the cards, and I have to admit that their packaging is a little bit flimsy when it comes to greeting cards. So at this point, I am shipping greeting cards myself, and I am shipping the stickers through Printful, because, stickers are pretty straightforward. Just stick it in an envelope and send it. I, number one, have like 50 different state stickers, each at a different size. So I don't want to hold, 50 times 3, 150 styles of sticker, and then how many of each sticker should I have in stock? It's just getting out of control with the number of items I would have to purchase in advance. So for me, selling something that's really easy for Printful to ship, that is very unlikely to be damaged, I think is great for them to do. For my cards, I'm a little more sensitive about my cards, and I like to put a personal touch on those. So what I'm doing with those is holding a little bit of stock, and I have a thermal label printer. I'm just running that label through the thermal label printer using Etsy's shipping system, and it's pretty straightforward. I just stick it in my mailbox. It's not a lot of work, but it's resulted in a lot more happy customers, because I can include my nice packaging with a really hard mailer so the card doesn't get damaged. I know the envelope's in there. So I wanted to point that out for you all, because yeah, these print-on-demand places are awesome, and you can connect them to your Etsy shop. However, they're not going to be perfect for every product. So there are times where you might think about, switching out to a different method or a different company, or shipping yourself with certain products. I think it's something you just have to play around with. But overall, I would say Etsy is absolutely a great place for illustrators and artists to be, whether you're selling art prints, digital downloads, stickers, greeting cards, whatever it is. I think there is definitely room for you on Etsy. And one thing I always think about with these marketplaces is, what is the barrier to entry? The higher the barrier to entry is, the less people you will be competing with. So the barrier to entry on Etsy is that listing fee that everyone's so afraid of. It's like 30 cents, you guys. If you have your own website and you pay for advertising to drive traffic to your website, you're paying a lot of money every month. Whereas with Etsy, 30 cents, I'm not going to complain about that, because I know what it costs to run a website and drive traffic to a website. It's expensive. With Etsy, you get that built-in SEO, and you're building up your customer list. I also want to point out something about Etsy because I think a lot of people don't realize that Etsy is not just for selling your art that you have listed on your shop. I've already gotten contacted for 2 really big custom orders, and it was a custom order that took me about an hour, and they ordered 100 pieces, so it's a pretty good deal for me. And then I've also had an art licensing opportunity where the company wants not just 1 card, but all my cards and future cards. So this is kind of not just a marketplace. It's sort of a way to showcase your best work, your cohesive style in a beautiful way that shows that you sell your work. So should you get started on Etsy, I would say first of all, look at your art and see if it translates well to products that are easy to ship. T-shirts, stickers, greeting cards, whatever you see your work on, make sure your work translates well to that, and that you have some kind of good SEO around that product. So for example, I created a series of state stickers. So let's do North Carolina. Well, we have North Carolina, we have the big cities in North Carolina, we have, important landmarks, we have the state flower. All of those words are SEO. So if you can't look at your artwork and think about words that people would type in to find you, then you may want to start thinking about creating some art that is a little bit more searchable. So I dive into a lot of this stuff in my classes, so I'm not going to go deep here because that's what my membership is all about, is helping you find your style and grow your work and sell your work out in the world in whatever way works for you. So I hope you'll consider joining us in the studio, but if not, I just wanted to give you a peek into my Etsy shop so you could see how I'm growing it, how I'm kind of flexing with some of the shipping challenges I've had, and I will keep you updated in the future on how things go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about what it takes to be an Etsy seller, pop them in the comments and I'll be interested to hear what more you would like to learn about Etsy.